Hello, everyone. Before we begin, let me ask you one question. Have you ever had a dream that felt impossible? A dream so big that other people laughed at you. A dream that stayed in your heart, even when life became difficult. Today's story is about a young man named Michael. He came from a small town. He had no money, no connections, no special luck. But he had one powerful dream. He wanted to become a singer. Many people told him to stop. Many people said he would fail. And many times, he almost believed them. He faced rejection, fear, failure, loneliness. But the voice inside his heart was stronger than the voices around him. This is a story about courage, about patience, about falling down and standing up again. So stay with me until the end. Now, close your eyes, listen carefully, and enjoy the story. His name was Michael. He was born in a small town. Life there was simple and quiet. Most people worked normal jobs. Most people lived ordinary lives. No one expected big things. But Michael was different. Since he was a child, he loved music more than anything. When he heard songs on the radio, his eyes became bright. When singers performed on television, he watched carefully. He did not only listen, he imagined himself on the stage. He imagined lights shining around him. He imagined people singing with him. Sometimes he used a spoon as a microphone. Sometimes he stood in front of a mirror and practiced performing. His parents laughed kindly. They thought it was cute, just a child's game. But for Michael, it was never a game. It was his dream. As Michael grew older, his love for music grew stronger. He sang while walking to school. He sang while cleaning his room. He sang quietly before sleeping. Music lived inside him. At school, he joined every singing activity. He was not the best student. He was not the strongest athlete. But when he sang, something changed. He felt alive. His teacher noticed it. One day she said, "Michael, your voice has feeling." That sentence stayed in his heart. Not because she said he was perfect, but because she saw something real in him. For the first time, someone believed in his talent. That gave him courage. Dreams often meet criticism. Michael learned that early. When he told friends he wanted to become a singer, some laughed loudly. A famous singer? You? Be realistic. That only happens in movies. Their words hurt him. He smiled outside, but inside, he felt pain. At home, he sat alone in his room. He looked at himself in the mirror. Maybe they were right. Maybe he was foolish. Maybe dreams were only for lucky people. But then he played music again. He started singing softly. And once more, his heart felt alive. That feeling gave him an answer. He did not know if he would succeed, but he knew he could not stop trying. Michael began to practice seriously. He did not have money for expensive lessons. He did not know famous teachers. So he used what he had: the internet, old songs, free videos, long hours. Every morning, he woke up early to practice breathing. Every evening, he practiced singing again. He learned how to control his voice. He learned how to stay on pitch. He learned how to sing with emotion. Sometimes neighbors heard him. Sometimes people complained, but Michael continued. There were days his voice sounded weak. There were days he felt no progress, but step by step, he improved. Dreams grow quietly when no one is watching. At 17, Michael entered a local talent show. It was his first real performance. He was nervous all day. His hands shook backstage. His mouth felt dry. When his name was called, he walked onto the stage slowly. Bright lights hit his face. Many people watched him. He froze for 1 second. Then the music started. He began singing, but fear controlled him. His voice was shaky. He forgot one line. He missed notes. Some people looked bored. Some whispered to each other. When the song ended, the applause was small, very small. Michael walked off stage, feeling broken. He had dreamed of this moment for years, and it felt terrible. That night, he cried alone. After the talent show, Michael stayed in his room for many days. He felt ashamed. He felt disappointed. He did not want to see anyone. Whenever he remembered the stage, his chest felt heavy. The weak applause, the missed notes, the faces of people watching him, everything returned to his mind again and again. He stopped singing for a while. He stopped practicing. He stopped dreaming. One rainy night, he sat beside the window alone. Water moved slowly down the glass. The room was dark and silent. Michael asked himself, maybe this dream is not for me. Maybe I should give up now. Those words felt painful, because part of him wanted peace, but another part of him still wanted the stage. He opened his phone and played one of his favorite songs. The singer's voice filled the room. Michael closed his eyes. Without thinking, he quietly sang along, softly at first, then stronger, then with feeling. When the song ended, he realized tears were on his face. He still loved music. The failure hurt him, but love was still there. That night, he made a decision. He would rest. He would learn, but he would not quit. Michael needed money. His family was not rich, so he took a part-time job at a small restaurant. He cleaned tables, carried dishes, swept floors, worked long hours. Some days were exhausting. Customers were rude. Managers were strict. His feet hurt every night. But he kept working, because dreams also need support. After work, most people wanted sleep. Michael wanted progress. He returned home tired, but still practiced singing, sometimes at midnight, sometimes early in the morning. He watched free vocal lessons online. He practiced breathing slowly. He practiced control. He practiced confidence. The mirror in his room became his audience. The walls became his concert hall. No one applauded him there. No one praised him. But he kept going. Many people see success. Few people see lonely practice. Months later, Michael saw an advertisement online. A music company was holding auditions. New singers were welcome. His heart raced. This was a chance. He prepared for 2 weeks. He chose a song carefully. He practiced every line. He ironed his best shirt. On audition day, he traveled to the city by bus. The building was full of young people. Some looked stylish. Some looked confident. Some had strong voices warming up nearby. Michael suddenly felt small. When his turn came, he entered the room nervously. 3 judges sat at a table. They looked serious. He introduced himself politely. Then the music started. Michael sang with all his heart. He gave emotion. He gave effort. He gave hope. When he finished, the room became quiet. One judge looked down at papers. Another said kindly, "Thank you for coming." That was all. Outside, Michael already understood the answer. Later that week, he received an email, not selected. Only 2 words, but they felt heavy. That evening, Michael walked home slowly. He did not want to go inside yet, so he stopped at a small park. There was no one nearby, only benches, trees, and soft wind in the air. He sat down quietly. Then, after some time, he began singing to himself. Not loudly, just enough to release pain. He sang the same song. from the audition. But this time, there was no pressure, no judges, no fear, only honesty. When he finished, an older man on another bench clapped softly. Michael turned in surprise. "I'm sorry," the man said. "I didn't mean to interrupt. You have a real voice." Michael looked down. "I failed today." The man smiled gently. "No, you were rejected today. That is different." Michael stayed silent. The man continued. "Failure means stopping. Rejection means continue somewhere else." Then the man stood up and left. Michael never learned his name, but he never forgot those words. That night, Michael stood in front of the mirror again. He looked tired. He looked ordinary, but his eyes were different. There was fire in them. He finally understood something important. Success would not come quickly. Maybe not this year, maybe not the next. But if he continued improving, he would become stronger than before. He wrote a message on paper and placed it on the wall. Rejected is not finished. Every morning, he read it. Every night, he read it again. Then he practiced harder than ever. His voice became clearer. His confidence grew slowly. His dream was no longer a fantasy. It had become a mission, and Michael was ready for the next chance. A year passed. Michael continued working at the restaurant. He continued practicing every day. Rainy days, busy days, tired days, even days when he felt no progress. He kept going. His voice became stronger. His breathing became steady. His emotions became deeper. Most importantly, his fear became smaller. One afternoon, he saw another audition notice online. A different company, a smaller company, looking for honest voices, not perfect faces. Michael stared at the screen quietly. His heart remembered the last rejection. The fear returned for a moment. Then he looked at the paper on his wall. Rejected is not finished. He smiled. This time, I am different, he said. He applied immediately. On audition day, he entered the room with calm steps. 3 judges sat there again. But now, Michael was not trying to impress them. He was there to express himself. The music started. He closed his eyes for 1 second and sang from the heart. Every note felt honest. Every word carried his journey. When he finished, the room stayed silent. Then one judge smiled. "Thank you, Michael. This was real." For the first time, he left an audition with hope. A few days later, while waiting for results, Michael decided to sing in public. He went to a busy street corner with a small speaker and microphone. At first, he felt nervous. People walked past quickly. Cars made noise. No one seemed to care. He took a deep breath and began singing. One woman stopped walking, then a child, then 2 students. Soon, a small crowd formed. Michael sang with full emotion. He forgot the street. He forgot the people. He only felt the music. When the song ended, people clapped loudly. Some even shouted, "One more." Michael laughed in surprise. He sang again and again. A young man in the crowd recorded him on his phone. Michael did not know it then, but that small video would soon change everything. The next morning, Michael woke up to many messages. Friends, coworkers, even old classmates. Everyone sent the same link. The street performance video had gone viral online. Thousands of views became millions. People shared it everywhere. Comments filled the screen. "His voice is amazing. So much emotion. Who is this guy?" I felt every word. Michael sat on his bed in shock. He watched the video himself. There he was. Not perfect, not rich, not famous, just honest. And people felt it. Later that day, his phone rang again. An unknown number. He answered carefully. Hello? A voice replied. This is Daniel Kim, a music producer. We need to meet. Michael nearly dropped the phone. Michael met the producer. 2 days later, they sat in a small studio office. Daniel Kim spoke simply. I saw your video. You are not polished yet. You are not trained enough yet, but you have something rare. Michael listened silently. What is that? He asked. The producer smiled. Truth. People can hear it. He offered Michael a chance. Training. Recording sessions. A contract for one song. Not a promise of fame, only a chance. But to Michael, it felt like the door finally opening. His hands shook as he signed the paper. Years of practice. Years of rejection. Years of quiet effort. All had led to this room. When he left the building, he looked up at the sky and cried openly. Sometimes tears come, not from pain, but from relief. Months later, Michael stood backstage at a real concert hall. Bright lights waited outside. Hundreds of people filled the seats. His first single had been released. It was not the biggest song in the country, but people loved it because it felt sincere. Tonight, he would perform it live. Michael closed his eyes and remembered everything. The small town, the mirror microphone, the laughter of others, the failed talent show, the restaurant job, the lonely practice nights, the rejection email, the stranger in the park, the street corner performance. Every painful step had become part of the path. Someone called his name. It's time. Michael walked onto the stage. The lights hit his face, but this time, he did not freeze. He smiled. The music began. He sang the first line softly, then stronger, then with complete freedom. The audience listened in silence. Then they raised their phones. Then they sang with him. Michael looked out at the crowd with tears in his eyes. Years ago, he imagined this moment alone in a mirror. Now it was real. When the final note ended, the room exploded with applause. Michael bowed deeply. His dream had not come quickly. It had not come easily. But it had come, and in that moment, he understood the greatest truth of all. Dreams do not belong to the most talented people. They belong to the people who refuse to stop. This was Michael's story. A young man who was laughed at, rejected, ignored, but he kept going. Maybe you also have a dream today. Maybe others do not understand it. Maybe progress feels slow. Keep going, keep learning, keep believing. One day, your small daily effort may become a life-changing moment. Thank you for listening.